Let's go.
Unfreaking
Welcome to
believable.
Co-op Podcast, Episode 5. My name is Greg,
And I'm Ryan.
and today we're going to be talking about electronic sports. EA Sports. This isn't the game. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that EA, but electronic sports are better known as esports. The up-and-coming sport that you've probably never heard of if you're a 50-year-old parent, and you probably have heard of if you're 13. So, Ryan, tell like way off of like esports now. Like I've been seeing you tweeting about, Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. And that game just came out I think this week or last week, and we're getting into that time of the year where it's where it's like your wallet is crying cuz you're just spending so much money on these games that were revealed at E3 maybe last year or earlier this year in June. So, you have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, correct?
Yeah, I bought it yesterday.
So what would you did you play Origins at all?
No, I haven't played a new Assassin's Creed since the one before the American Revolution.
Was that number 2 or 3? I think that was 3. Was that the one where
Well,
like
there-
you were born an Indian and stuff like that?
I think that one's called, or maybe it was 3. There's one called Liberation. See, it gets confusing because there's numbers and then there's names. So I played
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 1, 2, then I played Brotherhood, and then I played Revelations, and then there's like another one, and then there's like
Unity. Unity was the newest one. I think it came on Xbox One. I think that was the first. Unless it was Black Flag, but I think Unity was like the first like game that was specifically for the next generation or the current generation, because Black Flag was on 360 and Xbox One, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right. I don't know. I was gonna play Origins, but so I don't remember what came up. That may have been when I was playing Fortnite a lot.
Yeah.
So I just, but like for right now, there's just nothing to play. I've been trying to kill time with Fortnite and even Destiny 2. I bought all the DLC and I've been
Yes,
trying to play that.
Dude, okay, so I played Destiny 2 right when it came out. My friend got it, and I game share with him. So he got like the $100 version that came with the first 2 DLCs. And the way Destiny works for people who don't play Destiny is that it's like an MMORPG type first person shooter. And they have, it's not DLC, it would be expansion packs, right? So where, the base game lasts you 25, 30 hours, and then an expansion pack comes and gives you like 13 to 14 hours worth of new content. But if you don't get that expansion pack, then you're not going to get some of the guns that you could possibly get. You can't level up your light, which is like your level, or the power level.
It was like even the level in the game though. Like base game, you could get to level 20,
Yeah.
and your armor could be like up to 300, and
200,
then with
I think, 290
no,
something, or is it 301?
It was 300, and then you bought DLC 1 and 2, and then you could get to level 30, get to 400, and now I bought the Forsaken, and now it's level
500.
50.
50
No,
and
and
500.
you can get to 600.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, and they added a ton of new like armor, places to explore. They even
Yeah.
added a whole new game mode like for the
Gambit's sick. I honestly love that.
Gambit's really cool. And like speaking of esports, I heard rumors that they wanted it to be an esport, but like it never really got like picked
Destiny,
up. Or,
you can't. Destiny just can't be an esport. It's too much of a game where you have to give everyone the same gun, and at that point, it's just going to be a one gun type of game.
But esports, or I mean, battle royales do it, so I could see.
BRs
I
aren't
feel
esports, but that's what we're gonna be talking about later today too. But BRs cannot be esports. That's my opinion. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean, like it's some people. It depends on like what side you're on, because if you're on the competing side, I would agree. Like it's stupid having that much difference in like equipment and stuff doesn't seem right. But from an entertainment standpoint, it's like, oh, if player A has this gun but player B has this gun, like, and the nice thing about Gambit is it takes away all of the power ratings. So like even if I have a 600 gun and you have like a 300 gun, they do the same. It's like what you're comfortable with. I think
Exactly.
that's what's really interesting about Destiny, because like I can use an SMG and you can use a whole different weapon, but if I'm comfortable using an SMG and I know how to play with it, then I'm going to destroy you.
Yeah. That's and that the thing with Destiny though is like if you didn't get that expansion, then you can't play it. And it kind of divides
Yeah.
the player community. But I actually I hopped into it again because I saw you playing it and I was like, my friend's like a huge nerd and geek where he's like, I want to 100% this thing, and I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that. We don't have enough time. And then so I've been Destiny 2 like twice, right? I have like
Oh, I've beat it 3 times. I have 3 characters.
I have 3 characters, but I beat it twice with the same character because I don't know. It was just weird because I started over, but then my friend's like he played without me, and so he was like level 15, and I was like, or like his his light level was way higher than mine, and it was just stupid for me to like not use my main. So I just used my main account or my main hunter and beat it again the campaign. So, but I mean like I got back into it and I'm like, this is actually really fun. And the thing is, the reason why it's fun is because you don't worry about losing. You know how
Well,
you and
yeah,
I
the
are
nice
all about competitiveness, but like you can just play this game for a couple hours and just grind. It's a grind of a game.
it's good and bad, because I talked about that with my friends. I was like, this is nice because we can sit here and like relax, because you're fighting AI unless
Hmm.
you're like in the Crucible, and it's like they're not gonna kill you, and even if they do, there's really no consequence. Like you don't lose anything,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like that gets repetitive
Yeah, it
and
gets repetitive,
boring,
but I
and
think
if you're
that's the
not playing with
point.
people, that's tough.
Oh
Like
yeah, dude, I can't play Destiny 2 without a friend. Um,
yeah,
but like I think that's the point. It's like those games where it's like World of Warcraft where you do the same. I don't even know what they're called because I never played Warcraft, but it's like either a dungeon or something like that, or I don't know. You continuously do it because you're waiting for that good drop, right? And the drop happens once every like X amount of times, so you don't know when you're gonna get it, but you're hoping that it happens to you. Whereas, in Destiny 2, like if when I think it's in is it in Gambit? Where like the um the primeval that so in Gambit there is like a goal to get 75 motes, which are these little tiny like triangular prism things that you get from killing an enemy, and they drop and you have to get 75. But if you die before you put them into the base, like your little chamber, you lose them all and no one can pick them up.
you're
So
forgetting like the key aspect. The thing about Gambit is you're 2 separate teams,
oh
two
yeah,
different
yeah,
arenas, but you're fighting AIs. So you're fighting like computers, like just real. It'd be like fighting minions in League, and then every time
yeah,
you kill the AI, they drop a token, and you pick up a token. And the really cool part about Gambit is there's like a portal. And so, like, even though you're in 2 separate arenas, you can jump through the portal, and then it becomes PvP. And if I kill somebody on the other team, they drop all of their tokens. It's
yeah.
crazy, and like the amount of strategy that it takes, because like the more tokens that you turn in at a time, it puts like harder to kill AIs in front of like where you turn the tokens in.
So
So
then
like
it
if you
makes it impossible for them
yeah,
until they kill them.
right.
Yeah,
It's a really interesting like theory in game mode.
I like it, and I heard that it's super rare, and it may not even be real, but I heard a couple of people in the Destiny area talk about it, where when you summon a primeval, it actually summons a different boss, and if you kill him, you get like a heroic or legendary quest to get something. And I mean, it sounds legitimate because that's what Destiny kind of is, where it's like you need a if you in like they have these events where if you destroy a ship that's flying by, it'll cause the event that's just a public event to like a heroic legendary event where you get way better loot. But it's like they have these little things that cause it to happen. It doesn't just happen by just playing. Like you have to like get like there's a
It's
ship
like
that
flipping a
yeah,
switch.
you flip a switch, but in order to flip the switch, you have to do a secret thing in order to have that switch be flipped. And so to me, it was just really cool. And I was like, that's pretty sick. But the thing is, if that's kind of dumb if it is the case, because it's cool and bad. Because it's cool because it's, you get something from playing Gambit, but it's bad because, like, what if you never get that drop of, like, the
Right.
guy coming, so you never get that legendary quest? It could be fake. I don't know. It sounded legit because, like I said, that's what kind of like what Destiny is. But I mean, you're playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. How do you like that? Totally switching it.
Well, it's really cool because I like Assassin's Creed in general. It's another chill game. Like you put it on normal, even if you put it on the harder difficulties, it's really not that difficult. It's a free roam, so that's really cool. And the thing that always caught my interest with Assassin's Creed is the setting of the game. So like when they first came out, you were in like ancient-ish times. I don't like it was like
God, I don't
you're
even Assassin's
I
Creed
don't
One.
remember
What
where
would you even what
I'm
would you
trying
even
to
say that
think
setting
of like
is? Let me look it
I
up.
don't but yeah, like the second one was in like Renaissance time, like Italy, which is really cool. So you're running through like Florence and Rome and stuff. Or maybe is that Brotherhood? I don't know. One of them's in Rome, which is really cool. And the thing about Odyssey, and I think the reason I was so quick to pull the trigger on spending $60 is because I study ancient history. So my actual know, like Greek civilization, Roman civilization. I read ancient texts and like, like wars, Homer, the Odyssey, the Iliad, all that. And so literally I went to class Friday. I'm in a Greek civilization course and we're sitting there learning about, the Peloponnesian War, the Athenian Empire, Sparta, like why they fought, who these people are. And I shit you not, within the first 30 minutes of playing that game, I was playing the things that I was learning about.
That's
It
pretty
is
sick.
crazy. Like, so you start on an island, and like literally to the right of that island is Ithaca, which, if you don't know, is where Odysseus from the Odyssey is like trying to get to. Like, that's his kingdom. So like literally, I'm just running around exploring, just taking it in. And like as you find places, the names like pop up. So it'll be like blah 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 cave, blah blah blah, like this. So I'm just running around and I'm not really paying attention. All of a sudden it goes Odysseus's palace. I was like, holy shit. Like that is it's so cool to me that, and they really did their research, because like one of the items that I found is like it's like a lore. So it like tells you to go somewhere to like get a reward. And it's like the cunning Odysseus, like who sailed from like after destroying Troy and like eluding like Scylla and Caribus. Like they pulled stuff from these ancient epics that people read and like study. And like all the characters have a decent like Greek accent, and they actually speak some Greek. Like it's really really cool. And I'm not even like that far into the game. Like the first mission was actually 300, where King Leonidas is fighting the Persian Empire. That was like the opening like scene. And
That's
I'm
pretty sick.
I've seen, I don't know if it was fan art or not. I didn't do a lot of research. Like first off, I saw the game was set in ancient Greece, and that was good enough for me. I was like, well, I'm gonna probably end up buying that. And I don't know if it was fan art or if it was things that I've seen, but I swear I've seen a picture of Medusa somewhere. And just from what I've played so far, and from how big of a story it is, and the nature of Assassin's Creed, if at some point in that game I'm not coming out of the Trojan horse and sacking the city of Troy, I would be so pissed off.
I feel like like that has to happen, right?
You would think, right? Like the game is centered around being this sneaky assassin.
Yeah.
And what
Maybe
better
it's like,
sneaky assassin story
maybe that'd be like a
is the
main
Trojan?
mission where it's like
I'm
that's where
I'm
you
thinking
do that. I don't
that
know.
like it's gonna be like an extra thing to where like you like a flashback almost, like you pick up an item and it's like Odysseus's
Hmm.
blah blah blah, and then it like flashes you back to like remember when whatever game Leonardo da Vinci was in, and like you would do the missions with his inventions,
Oh yeah. So
kind of like that, but then you'd be doing like these myths. So like one of them would be Troy, one of them would be like Medusa, and like whatever else. I think that would be beyond the coolest thing ever.
yeah, I played Assassin's Creed Origins. I didn't even beat it, and I thought the game was insanely good. It was just so much. There was just so much to do, and the way they make it for you, Ryan. I think this is going to be new to you. I don't know because you haven't gone that far. Where you have to play the side missions in order to progress in the story because
See,
you get XP.
I'm that kind of person where like I can't leave that area until I finish all the side missions
Yeah.
anyway. Like even that tiny little island I was on, I went through and explored every single area. I did everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
That's the thing.
so
It's like because then if you don't do that, when you try to do like a main mission, it'll give you like a red skull, meaning like it is impossible
It's
for you to
too
do it.
hard.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, it's like, god dang, because you can change the settings. So it's like you've already done like 70% of the game in this, like with this setting on. It's like now you can't, so now you just go back and grind. But since you've already doing it, then you have nothing to worry about. But I looked up the settings for every Assassin's Creed game. So the first Assassin's Creed came in 2007. That was the Third Crusade, right?
Oh, that's what it was. It was the Crusades. But like
Yeah.
they've always been historic. And that's what always caught my attention because and not only historic but also accurate enough for me to respect it because like there's some
Yeah.
like God of War is really cool and the new one that I played is pretty accurate. And I didn't play the old ones, but I feel like they have some inaccuracies. But
Yeah.
like not a lot, but like enough. Or like the movies that came out, it was like Wrath of the Titans. Like those had some like the the movie with the Kraken and he goes and kills Medusa and then he has to kill the Kraken with Medusa's head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
the
I think
Kraken.
I don't. Wait, what's it called?
It's called Wrath of the Titans.
I've. Wait, was that like the? It was like a 6-7 years ago, right?
I think so.
It was like
I mean, it's literally centered around the story of Perseus. So he's the son of Zeus.
I think I've
He
seen. I never
is-
saw it, but I think I've seen previews for it, and I think I know exactly what you're talking about. But like I said, I've never seen it.
So it's literally the myth of Perseus, and all the myth of Perseus is to break it down like really fast. Is son of Zeus fights Medusa, and he does some other shit.
Mhm.
But like the point in the movie, he kills Medusa and then has to go save the queen of the city, and the Kraken is about to eat her, and so he uses Medusa's head to turn the Kraken to stone. Really cool. It's a good movie, but the Kraken is not. It's not a Greek myth. It never shows up in Greek mythology. So it
Oh.
being in that movie with like all this other great Greek myth is like awful. And then like the problem with that is then you get kids or people that watch it and then they think the Kraken is from Greek mythology and then it just it's just bad.
Yeah. So to carry on, just really quick, Assassin's Creed 2 was in the Italian Renaissance. Same with Brotherhood and Revelations.
Yep.
Assassin's Creed 3 was the colonial area, so that's the Revolutionary War, right? That's what we talked about, right?
Yeah.
And then Black Flag was also the colonial era, not area. Rogue.
One of them
2
was the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, so
yeah.
that's down here. Italian Renaissance, Assassin's Creed Identity. French Revolution was the Assassin's Creed Unity game. It was like probably one of the best games they've made because they just changed everything, the mechanics of the game. Victorian era, which is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So that is the Industrial Revolution. That's the one. That one actually got a really bad score. It was just I never
They
played
started
it.
to get I think that was like one of the last ones. I think that's like when the company realized that they needed to change it up because Origins is like Origins and then Odyssey is way different than the games
Yeah.
that I used to play. Like there's way more like
I mean,
armor customization and stuff and there's
Odyssey
like
is
skills and
Odyssey's
abilities.
map is 2 times bigger than Origins, and
Dude,
Origins map
it's
was
massive.
insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I bought it thinking like, oh, I can get through this by the time Call of Duty comes out. Like this will give me.
Psych.
Yeah, I really don't know if I'll be able to. And like I'm
It's
on
gonna be
fall
a game you're
break
gonna
next week.
you're gonna be, dude. You're gonna be playing. I played that game for about 2 to 3 months solid, like a lot, and I took a break because other stuff came out. Came
Yeah.
back to it, played it again for a long time. Still have yet to beat it, like because there's so much stuff. And then to round it out, we got the Potom. I don't even know. It's the Assassin's Creed Origins is in Egypt, and then the it's Ptolemy
The
Ptolemiac. I don't know.
it's like the Age of the Pharaoh, but I don't know how to say it. It's like that family, the Ptolemies, maybe.
Yeah.
So
And then the
Ptolemaic
Peloponnesian
Pto-
War is Odyssey. So
Odyssey. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think they're not making another one for a few years to focus on Odyssey. They probably need to because that game
Dude.
is freaking massive. So there's no way they're going to be able to just say, "Oh yeah, new game next year."
If-
They
if the
spent
next
so much time
one-
on it.
If the next one isn't set in ancient Rome, I'm gonna riot.
I mean, you write over a lot of things.
No, but like the timeline that they're following and how hype, because like ancient Greece is cool. I study
You
all
got
of it.
you're gonna have at least 2 years to wait on it. So you got 2 years
Oh,
to
no,
beat
no, no,
Odyssey.
I'm not rushing them. I'm just saying when they announce it, if the next one isn't like if this one's centered around the Peloponnesian War, I'm trying to think of the most historic. It has to be the first emperor. It has to be like the death of Caesar, and then Augustus taking over the Roman Empire.
This is something that I have like you learn this stuff in high school and then you forget about it because you never touch it in college, and unless you do what
yeah,
you're doing.
unless you're me and you study it for 4 years. Basically, what happened was
Here we go,
Rome
folks.
Rome was a republic, so it was like us, sorta.
Yeah.
And then they pissed Caesar off because they wouldn't elect him as basically president. They had weird rules about voting. So it's like if you were on a military conquest, you couldn't enter the city unless you gave up your military power. And he didn't want to do that, but he also wanted to be in the city to be voted in. So that's when he crossed the Rhine and marched on Rome with an army. And then he got voted in and everyone thought everything was cool, and then he got stabbed to death. So after that there was like this big civil war, because then like there was people that stabbed him, and then there's people like, whoa, you shouldn't have done that, so they fought. And then his nephew ended up like avenging his death, and then that led to another civil war between, and that's where you get Mark Antony and Cleopatra. So Mark Antony was like on the side of like, yeah, he should have died. He was a crazy person. And then his nephew, Octavian, which is Augustus, which is the first emperor, was on the other side. So Octavian defeats Mark Antony and Cleopatra, and then sets up the Roman Empire. See, like that's what that game should be. It should be, you should be the one to kill Julius Caesar, frame it on Brutus, and then help Octavian defeat. I don't know how they would do it, but like if, oh god, that'd be so cool. I'm nerding out right now. That would be spectacular.
Because you're like nerding out about something that I'm just like, you talked about something and I was just like, what?
Well, that's what I mean. Like I'm playing Odyssey.
You're playing your passion. You're
I know,
playing your.
that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Like I literally went to class Friday morning, learned about the Peloponnesian War, and then within like 4 hours of my class being over, I was playing the Peloponnesian. Like it's just crazy. It's so cool.
Yeah. So that's what you're playing. I'm playing Destiny 2. I stopped playing Fortnite. People are probably going, oh, why? Dude, Fortnite is, to me, I just can't play it right now. Blackout starts in 6 days. I'm excited for that. And with that, with Blackout is from, it's a battle royale mode in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 had their esports reveal. I have pretty much everything that they've talked about. I brought up Deserto.com. So the biggest thing that they've done in Call of Duty esports, and we're going to compare it to a lot of other esports, so don't worry. We're not just Call of Duty in this one. They are switching it from a 4v4 format, meaning 4 players against 4 players, to a 5v5, so 5 players on each team. And that kind of continues with every other esport that is popular right now.
I think a lot of people are overlooking that though. First off, to clarify, Call of Duty's always been 4v4 player format, but when you play just normal Call of Duty, like if you just booted up the game and you're like, oh, I'm gonna play TDM, it's always been 6v6. And so there's always been this divide between competitive and casual. Whereas like when you get on CSGO or League of Legends, no matter if you're playing casual or not, unless it's like an alternative game mode, you're playing the same as competitive. So like League, even if you're not playing ranked, you're still playing 5v5. Same with CSGO. And so this change, they changed competitive to 5v5, but they also bumped public matches down from 6v6 to 5v5. I think to help bridge the gap. I don't think it's necessarily like CSGO's 5v5, so we should be 5v5.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're trying to bridge the gap between casual and competitive to get more people interested in the competitive side of things.
Yeah, and so I mean, like you said, bridge the gap and make people go, whoa, they're playing pretty much the same game I am, you know?
Right.
Because in CSGO, every pub you play, it's the same as it's literally the same, except some maps are different, but
that's what I'm saying.
League of Legends, casual is the same as competitive, nothing changes.
And I've been saying that for a while, that they should do, I think they should do more too. Like personally, I think they should take game modes out of Call of Duty. Like TDM's okay and free for all is cool, but like if they're not playing it in the CWL, I don't think it should be on Call of Duty. Or if it is, it should be like Fortnite, where it's like featured like once a week or something. That way, you're forcing people to play the competitive rule sets, but that would probably hurt their game because
Oh, it's gonna hurt their game like crazy. The
Yeah.
game is not made for competitive, and that's what I'm gonna bring up. Or it's not built around competitive.
around, right. That's
But
what
I'm
I
gonna
mean
bring
though.
that
Is,
up
like,
later.
if you just make the base game, like, so for example, in Call of Duty, it's kind of like banning champions in a way, but like certain things are just banned and deemed like uncompetitive. So
Well,
for
no, and
example,
banning in League of Legends and Dota and stuff like that. That's not saying it's uncompetitive. That's just a
no, but
strategy
I
around
could be wrong, but aren't there champions that are banned because they're deemed like
only the usually it's only the ones that were
overpowered?
it's only the ones that were released like a few weeks prior to a tournament.
Right.
Other
So
than
like,
that's and it's only usually one.
right.
It's
Well,
never
regardless,
multiple.
like in Call of Duty, they'll ban like say rocket launchers, but then you have rocket launchers in like the casual. Let's see, like I've always said this. I think that they need to not necessarily, maybe not the game modes. That'd be a very drastic change, but like just start slowly taking some of, like, you don't need rapid fire in the game. I think it ruins casual and competitive, and they ban it in competitive anyway. So just take it out of the game and start bridging the gap even more. Like small things like that, I don't think would be like if they removed what is it, high caliber, rapid fire, and like some of the like
Stalker
really
where you
new
can hear people's footsteps, stuff like that.
right, like stupid perks like that. And you could definitely put in more competitive perks to make it, and then that would only not only bridge the gap, I think it would make casual play better because like when you get killed by people using rapid fire, you're like, dude, come on. Or like they can see you because of a perk or something, like they can see your footsteps on the ground. Like that's just dumb. Like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but like no one wants that. Like
Yeah.
not only would it make casual better, but then I just think, like you said, it's like, oh, I'm playing the same thing that the pros are playing.
Yeah. It
Or,
just
like, you
makes
want to
you
get
want to
as close to that as possible.
yeah, and I like especially with this last year, I remember going on Twitter and saying like this is my first, this is my first tournament I'm watching. Like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And the thing is, the majority of the Call of Duty community is I feel like we get a lot of, well, not we, because I'm not in it anymore, but it used to get a lot of flack by saying like cancer and saying like people just like aren't nice to anybody. But I feel like there's some individuals that are like, if they're new and they say, hey, why are they doing this? It's not like, why are you even watching, you idiot? Why are you, like, if you don't know what's going on, don't watch. It's like, well, we all started someplace, right? We all started somewhere. It's like when you go to the gym, everyone starts at one.
It's like that with every game though. I remember
Oh,
when
yeah,
I
I know.
tried to play League, I played like I've only played maybe it has to be less than 10 games of League in my entire life. And like the second or third one I played, I was getting yelled at in the game chat. He's like, "Bro, you have no idea what you're doing." I was like, "Yeah, I know." And instead of like being like, "Well, here, do this instead," or like, trying to like just absolute like just you're garbage. Like you have no idea what's going on. Like you're hurting the team. Like no shit. I have no idea what's going on. I've
Yeah.
barely played this game. Like,
And
and
the
it's like that
thing,
with Call
yeah.
of Duty too, though. Like when I played GBs, there were so many teams that we would play against that had the rules wrong, or like you could just tell they didn't really know what was going on. And I could have easily been like, "Yo, you have the rules wrong," but like I never did. I took the free
Oh,
win, and
yeah, you took the free one every single time.
yeah.
And
So
like,
it's like
or it's like,
it,
yo, can we cancel? Nah, play man down. It's like, dude, Ryan, like, I was the one that's like, dude, just cancel. I don't want to waste my time. You're like, nah, man, it's XP. I was the one.
I'm
I was the
competitive,
one
bro.
that said just cancel.
Well,
That's all. Every single
in
time.
in my defense, I would cancel if it was a legitimate reason. But when people are just coming up with stupid excuses, like don't post a match if you have work in 10 minutes. It's not my problem that you have to go to work. Like you're dumb for
Yeah,
posting that match, so I
yeah,
punish stupidity.
yeah.
But that's just the way I
You
look at
are
it because
stupidity, but
I'm
no. So back to Call of Duty, that whole thing. This is, to me, this is a joke, and the reason why it's a joke is I'll explain it after. $6 million prize pool. $6 million. You're probably thinking that's a lot of money. That's for the entire year.
That's an upgrade too, by the way. Just
No,
for
no, no. That
reference.
is, yeah. That's like a 1 point something million dollar upgrade. But if you think about it, because the format is changing to 5v5,
They're
it
just
is
paying the
literally
extra
the
person.
same thing. They're just paying for one extra person on each team that wins. That's literally it. You're getting the same amount of money, if that, right? And to put into perspective, Call of Duty esports has been around for a very long time. The CWL has only been around for about 3 years since uh
Black Ops 3.
Black Ops 3, the CWL starts. So Black Ops 3, AW or IW, World War II, right? There was esports but before, but it was like MLG or UMG stuff. It was like a third party had to come in and make these tournaments. The prize pool was never really that big, where it wasn't like guaranteed this much money. It was like at the end of the year they added it all up. Um, Fortnite has been around
A
for
year.
less than a year before they announced it, right? For 1 year, they gave out.
No, it's been out for a year. I started
No, no,
playing
no.
it.
Before they announced the amount of money they were doing, it was less than a
Oh.
year, right? So Call of Duty has been established for many years, decades, right? It's been around for decades, but esports has been around for decades as well, but not as predominantly popular
Call
as
of
it is
Duty's
now.
only been around for like a decade.
Okay, yeah, a decade. Well, early 2000s, right? Like 2003. I don't know. But in esports has been around since then, right? So, but it's all underground. To come back to it, Fortnite has been around for less than a year. Now it's been around for over a year. $100 million for Fortnite. $100 million for a whole for like the competitive season for the whole year for 2019 or what 2018 2019. Call of Duty, $6 million. So you're telling me a company that is so predominantly popular and like Activision stuff like that, Activision Blizzard, like
Probably it has to be the biggest gaming. Like it is. It is.
it is the biggest one. But the thing is, you're telling me, but this is it. Like I'm gonna look at CS:GO, so Valve and stuff like that. For 2018, there is a $1 million tournament. There is another $1 million tournament. There is a couple like a $1.5 million tournament. This is all in This is all in 2018. It started off with a $100 million, then 300,000, 500,000, 1.5 million, 250,000. Like the amount of like listen to this. Like just ESL One New York, just like a little it's a tiny tournament that's not really like an insanely big one, but it's still gonna be popular. $250,000, normal, right? But then you have like a $660,000 tournament, but that's the finals, right? So you're telling me that CS:GO has been around for a very long time. That could be decades. People have been playing that for decades, literally. Forever. You're telling me that Call of Duty cannot put out a little bit more money? Like
you wanna know what the difference is too? And people have been saying this for.
I can kind of guess what you're gonna say, but you can go ahead and say it.
It's basic. What Fortnite is doing, it's crowdfunding is all it is.
Yes.
So like when they release a skin, they make buku bucks off these skins, like the good ones too. Like that Dark Bomber that just came out, I cannot even fathom how much money just that skin. And then you start talking about like sets. So like the skin probably made them a ton of money, but then like when you start talking about the skin, the pickaxe, and the glider, like buku bucks. And the difference between Fortnite and Activision is, first off, Activision, I think everyone was really, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. I think everyone was really worried about loot crates and loot boxes. I kind of think they're slowly killing themselves out, which is a good thing for video games. That can be a whole different topic that we talk about, but I think loot boxes are on their way out because of games like Fortnite and because of, people just constantly saying like this is dumb. So with that being said, it's like Call of Duty just doesn't have that good of a market to make the kind of money that Fortnite is. And even if they are making that kind of money, they don't put it back into their game. Like, and just another example is like, think of how much Fortnite has done for their summer skirmishes and stuff, like promoting them and talking about them and broadcasting them and all that.
Yeah.
And like, dude, Call of Duty doesn't even promote their own CWL. Like, for example, World War II.
It didn't start doing it until like the last 3 months when the game was dead.
Well, and they didn't even do it well. You had that. So if you're unfamiliar, World War II introduced a mode, not a mode, but it's like a public area called the headquarters. So like you would load in, you could see other players, and then you could go around and interact with people. So like you could go Like there was a mail officer where you got like armory credits every couple hours. There was like a way to prestige your guns, like view your classes, like get new challenges, stuff like that. Dude, within that, and like this is the part that drives me crazy. They would decorate it for events. So like right now, if you get on the headquarters, it's like Halloween themed. There's like jack-o'-lanterns and it's like dark and spooky. Bro, how hard is it just to put a flag for every CWL team? How hard is it to put a banner up for each time a tournament was played and a team won? Like, oh, Rise won. And then people would be like, oh, who's Rise? Like, what tournament? Like, how? I it blows my mind with how big that company is, and they can't do that. They can't pull that off. So like the fact that they couldn't even promote their own thing, let alone, and like now people are gonna start expecting them to. That's why, dude. Speaking of esports, the game in general, Black Ops 4 is going to be held to the highest standard of video game has ever seen, in my opinion.
I think console video game, but not PC. I think that's another reason why the price pool is so low, because it's a console esport.
Regardless of that, though, it's like I don't think that matters, honestly,
I
because
think it does.
I don't. I would argue that for days. The potential that Call of Duty has, console or PC, it's just the way that they go about doing like so for example, whether Fortnite was on the PC or console, and you have people playing both. Nick Merckx goes to these tournaments and he plays on console. I can tell you when they stream those tournaments, they stream it on one site and it's really easy to find. They just go to Twitch. When Call of Duty tournaments are on, oh, you have to watch it through Facebook or MLG.TV, or we have 3 different broadcasts on Twitch. Not to mention like we like everyone only watches one team and then you forget about everybody, like the support, and then like they don't promote it from within.
No,
So like
yeah.
even the people that are fans of Call of Duty and are playing the game, some of them have no idea what the CWL is, which is mind-boggling to me, because then you get on Fortnite and everybody knows what these skirmishes are.
Yeah.
And that has something to do with not only Activision promoting it, but the players too. Look how big of an advocate Ninja and Courage and Nick Merckx are. They're hosting these events, they're streaming these events, they're playing at them and this and that. Bro, and this goes back to what you were saying earlier about like it being toxic or cancerous. Dude, the people that play Call of Duty don't do anything. They don't put YouTube videos up, they don't stream it. They tweet it every now and then, but guess what? They also bash on the game that they're playing. That was something that I noticed Nadeshot talking about in his podcast with Hex. They were talking about his 100 Thieves Fortnite team, and he's like, yeah, they don't get invited to the skirmishes. And Hex was like, well, why do you think they don't get invited? He's like, because they just complain about the game. He's like, you have people like Ninja and Courage who are having fun, whether it's fake or not. Like they're posting these clips, laughing, enjoying oh, this game's awesome, this is so fun, I'm so glad they added this. And then you get people on like the 100 Thieves team and they're complaining about things that they need to change, take out, this and that. Like obviously they're not going to invite somebody to play a game if they're not enjoying it, or they're not an advocate for the game. Like that, that's contradictory. And I feel like Call of Duty is the same way. It's like, dude, think about all the people that complained about Infinite Warfare. Like,
That's a lot.
it's a lot. And then like, and even World War II was better, but like people were still complaining about it. They weren't happy. And so like if you're telling me the people that, and we were just talking about this before we went live, it's like these people are making so much money. And I'm not saying they have to be happy all the time just because they play video games, but like from an outsider's point of view, it's like, oh, this kid is a pro Call of Duty player. Let me go check out his profile. Oh, he's complaining about like, why would you play a game that he's complaining about?
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like reading a review. It's like, if it got 1 star, you're not going to be like, oh, like, I want to buy that now. It's like, so just, I think personally that if they would promote better and they make a game that the players actually enjoy and will advocate for,
Uh-huh.
and they're more organized in promoting, broadcasting, and all that. And like I said, it's so easy, man. Like it's so easy. Like literally just on the menu. They did it for Black Ops 3. It was like live, and all you had to do is
Yeah, but it was
scroll
only
down.
on PS4.
That's the other, like, it's just so dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb. So
So
everything that they do just hurts my head to think about.
yeah. And to give Ryan some breathing time and relaxation, breathe in, breathe out, Ryan. It's okay. Don't get an aneurysm. We need you for the next episode. Um, you know, electronic sports is near and dear to my heart, and it is the next big thing, right? I went to college wanting to be a marriage or family marriage therapist, doing psychology as my major, and then I thought to myself, why can't I be a psychologist for esports players? Because it, yeah, they're not working out a lot. Some of them do, you know, but it's more mental than anything. And think about it, when you're at work and you do a lot of number crunching or a lot of stuff that you have to think about hard, you are exhausted at the end of the day. Multiply that by 2 sometimes. So it's like, instead of doing 8 hours a day you're doing it to 14 to 16 hours a day. And then you go to a tournament, and then 1 second, literally one decision, can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so I was thinking, well, I think it'd be sick to be that person that, like, all right, guys, like, not a coach, but like someone that they can just talk to and feel like, what were they feeling in this moment? Were you nervous? What was your breathing technique? Did you even notice that?
Going off of that too, it's like they punish themselves for plays like that, but then think of like the fan base
Yeah.
behind. Like, think of all the people that mocked Nadeshot for using the HBR. Like, you're there, that had to have affected him mentally. There's no way it didn't.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's
Absolutely
what
no
I'm saying. So like, you make one mistake, and it's the same thing with regular athletes of a sport that's, football or baseball. It's like, I was watching the Red Sox baseball game yesterday against the Yankees, game 1 of the ALDS, and some Brazier got in from our bullpen, and the first thing I thought was, oh, we're screwed, right? And imagine that multiplied by 30,000 people, just thinking,
Yeah,
oh, this guy sucks. Why is he even on the roster? And it's like, they released the postseason roster yesterday, and Drew Pomeranz, who was like one of our aces last year, isn't on the roster because he honestly he just had a terrible season. He did not deserve to be on the roster for the postseason. 100% agree. But everyone's like, thank God Drew isn't on it. Thank God Mr. Pomegranate isn't on it, because he would throw baseballs that are the size of pomegranates, because they would just demolish them. It's just like, imagine going on Twitter and seeing people just mock you and destroy you for, like, it is your career, right? You are getting paid millions of dollars a year to do something, and it's pitching. And yes, pitching is very hard, but I think harder is understanding that just because they think you suck doesn't mean you actually do. You just had a rough season,
right.
Like, it's just, I don't know if same thing goes back to, like, when we were talking about that little kid about his YouTube channel. Like, can he handle the expectations? Can he handle the toxicity of everyone just bashing him like that? Imagine a 30-year-old getting through that, and it's like, instead of it being a couple 100,000, it's millions of people. Like, I don't know if I could handle that mentally. Like it's just tough, and the world today is just really tough on you when it comes to, like, meeting their expectations. You are never good enough when it comes to, like, in the sports world. Oh, well, he did this, why couldn't he have done this? Like Baker Mayfield. Oh, he couldn't drive down the field to score, why couldn't he do that? Well, it's like, it's a second start of his NFL career. Give him some time, right? Tom Brady, he didn't have a good first outing when he first played, and then now he's considered the GOAT, right? And
even he has bad game. I mean, look at Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger is
dude, I don't even want to talk about that guy. He's retire. and that's for me, like, right there. It's just like, I'm doing it right there, but it's just like, because, dude, I think there comes a time where it's like, you're not meeting expectations, right? At that point, it's like, your expectations aren't even that high, right? And he even said, I'm considering retiring, but it's like, why are you considering it? Honestly, you've made enough money for life and your family and your next family and all that stuff, but it's like, your body just can't handle it. And when do you take it from your ego and, like, your confidence and, like, who you are as an individual? When do you just, like, say, yeah, you know what, I'm hanging the cleats up, it's time. Like, I think that's one of the toughest decisions an athlete can make, right? But I feel like it makes it 10 times harder.
it drives some of them crazy too. Like
Yeah.
Ronda
think
Rousey didn't even technically retire, but like when she lost and then quit fighting, she was literally suicidal because she was like, I don't know what to do.
that's her life.
Or
She wakes up,
or
trains.
Abby Wambach said the same thing. She was like, when she retired from the women's national team, she said she was so lost because she was like, you just do it like as a kid you do it to make it to the next level, and then you work your ass off to make it to the next level, and then you finally go pro. And when you're a pro, you want to be the best,
So you
so
keep
you
working
are
harder.
constantly like, even if it's not, I mean, like you're working out, you're eating, you're dieting, you're watching film, you're playing soccer, like that, like all the time. Especially like when you find someone like really passionate about something, that's all they can think about. Like, I love Logic, and I've been watching a lot of interviews, and he said early in his career he had that. He was like, dude, I did nothing but work. He's like, when I was laying in bed, I was thinking of lyrics, like typing them in my phone. And he's like, dude, constantly. Like when you find someone like that, and then you all of a sudden take that away, like it'll drive somebody crazy.
Hmm. So, come to bring it back down to esports. I feel like they're doing this more than what you do at your day job, right? And people who want to make it to these esports levels of being a pro, they do their day job, possibly 6 to 8 hours a day. Then they come and grind for another like 5 to 6 hours. Then they sleep, you know. And I don't. To me, it's just like, how do people not consider them athletes because they're not lifting weights? Do you consider chess players athletes? They're considered. It's chess is considered a sport. Yes, they're
To me,
athletes.
anything that is competitive at a high level that not everybody can do should be considered a sport.
Chess is a sport.
Well,
One hundred
it's
percent.
competitive, and you have to be very intelligent. Just
Mhm.
like the problem with video games is when you hear esport, the first thing people think of is, oh, they're just playing against each other. Because everybody's played video games, not necessarily shooters like Call of Duty or League or anything, but it's like everyone's played some sort of, like, whether it be Madden head on head, or Pong, or I mean, like, or like, even if you're playing single player games, like back in the day, you'd just be trying to beat high scores or beat it faster, like.
Mhm.
So when they think of that, they're like, oh, anybody can play a video game. But then I don't think they realize the level of hand-eye coordination, the strategy, the communication, the team
Amount of
chemistry,
concentration, I think, because
the
they see it
mobile.
as leisure. We see it as
Yeah, oh, yeah.
a passion, right? And so to me, it's like watching Stewie 2K. He's on Made in Brazil or MIB, or his parents thought he was a failure when he wanted to go pro, right?
Yeah.
Because they thought video games aren't going to get you anywhere. But now look at him. Like he was a rookie when he was on Cloud9. And everyone's like, "Why are you picking up this guy? There's so many more veterans out there." But it's like I was watching. They wanted a rookie to bring the life back to the team because another veteran is just an old guy. Rookies are
Yeah.
young, blood hungry, guy who wants to win, right? And so it's just like parents themselves thought he was a failure because they didn't see esports as a sport or esports as like a way to make a living. And now his mom's like, I watched you play, you did so good, like I watched this play that you just had, oh my god, that was amazing. It's like now they're finally starting to understand. But it's like colleges now are even making collegiate teams for certain games like League of Legends and Overwatch and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
Overwatch is a game that I think like was the pinnacle of franchising for esports, where it's like instead of rooting for an organization, you're rooting for a city, right? So you're rooting for the Houston Outlaws or the Dallas Fuel or the Los Angeles Valiant or the Miami Mayhem or the Shanghai Dragons, right? Like you, instead of rooting for Optic Gaming, you're rooting for the Houston Outlaws. Instead of rooting for Envious, you're rooting for the Dallas Fuel.
And
Instead
that's
of
just specifically Overwatch, right?
no,
Because
now no, because now they made it into League of Legends, where it's like the Golden Guardians are now. I mean, the from
no, I think you're
They
because
franchised and well they franchised in a way where it's like instead of it being Cloud9, it's it's still Cloud9, right? But it's like
right.
they like League of Legends made it maybe it's like a I don't know. It's like the AAA version of the MLB. I don't know, but the Golden State Warriors and other people they uh they bought a spot into the league, right? And I know that 100 Thieves is in what's it called? Uh League of Legends now and they're actually going to Worlds, but they're backed by the Cavaliers. And so I think they have like
Yeah, but I thought the whole point of franchising was that like you're tied down to a city. So like when you
yeah.
watch Overwatch, you have Houston, Dallas,
I don't know
Philadelphia.
if it's franchised 100% yet, but they have
That's what
like
I'm
the
saying. Like I
investments
think
to
no,
franchise.
I knew that. I know they have investors from major. Like I know the Cavs owner has backed up 100 Thieves and that. Like, but I don't think it's franchised. I don't think that's the proper term because I don't think because when you watch Overwatch, you're watching the Houston this like it's not. But when you watch League of Legends, you're still watching orgs. You're still watching 100 Thieves, Cloud9. You know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, yeah, I totally get it. And to be honest, I think Call of Duty would. I don't know if it would be good for franchising. I saw Crim6 from Optic Gaming said that it needs to happen, but
It
I
would
think
blow up, in my
I think
opinion.
it would I'd really make it work because it's like I would want to root for a city. Like, yeah, I love rooting for an organization and stuff like that, but like,
It
oh, when
would
people ask me
well
what your favorite team is, I say Boston. You know,
right.
so it's like, oh, why all the way over there in Massachusetts? I fell in love with the team when I was 5 years old when I played on a
Yep.
farm team, right? So it's just like
I
and then you're tied to a city. Then you want to explore the city, like what's in Boston that's cool, right? But it's like when it's just an organization, you're not tied down to really anything. It's not a destination. It's just an organization where, you know, I don't know. Like I feel like it brings that more passion to the city, right?
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier too, though. It's like when Call of Duty is being broadcasted, a lot of people will only watch Optic, and then if Optic loses or they're not on, the it's a meme, but it really does it drops, and it's gotten better over the years, a little bit, but like it makes a noticeable difference. So if you franchise though, and then all of a sudden like yeah, you can cheer for Optic, but if you have a hometown team,
They're probably gonna
like
watch that one as well.
you're yeah, you might get sucked into it a little bit. And then on top of that, it's like you get the people that don't really understand esports, and all of a sudden you have a hometown team. It's like think of all the people that go to Ohio State, and then all of a sudden if we had a Columbus Call of Duty team, that might pull some people in. It'd be cool.
You know what I just thought of? All right, so the NBA 2K League, right?
Yeah.
Franchised. They have like almost every single team in the NBA has a team, and they
Right.
play in that city. And then they fly to like, or they train in the city, and then they fly to a location for the league. But like they have like the Cavs Legion or whatever, Cavs whatever, and then they have the Sacramento Kings Guard, and then they have like, to me it's just like that's pretty cool. Like I know that the Sacramento Kings real basketball team is atrocious, horrendous. Okay, Sacramento Kings guard pulled some upsets in the tournament, and I watched the tournament mainly for the Kings because that's where I'm from,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and that's literally like, and if it was like instead of the Sacramento Kings guard, it was like the something else, right? I don't know, just pull out a random name, the Rabbit Hoppers. Okay, so like, why would I want to watch the Rabbit Hoppers? There's no connection to me there. Whereas I lived in Sacramento, I was born and raised there. I will watch a team from Sacramento any day of the week just to see them because that's my hometown. Just like you're saying, it's a hometown team. You're going to root for them just because they're from where you are. You want to see them be successful because you want your town to have, or your city to have that, like, yeah, we did this. Yeah, it's like you have a connection to the Ohio State football team because you are a
Right.
Buckeye. You go there. So
Yeah.
even when you leave and you are an alum of that college, you will still watch a ton of games. You will still be
Oh
rooting for
yeah.
them when you're
Well,
60, when you're
it's
70,
funny because I don't even care about the NFL, but I generally cheer for the Browns and the Bengals. Like I
because you're
could
from Ohio.
yeah, exactly. And even like I love the Red Sox, but if the Red Sox like say aren't in the playoffs or like this or that, I cheer for the Indians. It's the hometown team. It's
Mhm.
literally like it's just something. It's literally just in your blood. It's like you don't hate the hometown team, no matter what.
See, you don't hate them, but you can make fun of them. I make fun of the Kings all the time. We
Oh yeah,
suck.
the Browns are awful.
Hey, hey,
No,
hey!
I'm not
Baker
saying you can't
Mayfield is
hate on
another gift
them.
from God. All right, buddy. He's the goat. They got it. He got the first win, baby. I don't care. Greatest of all time. Who's Tom Brady? I don't know. Baker Mayfield. You heard it here first. No, but like think about it. I think that'd be pretty sick in Call of Duty, having like a city to root for. And I think at the end of the day, like at the end of the day in Call of Duty, is it really the team or is it the players, right? Because I know that with Formal, leaving Optic and going to Luminosity, a lot of people went to Luminosity because they love a player. A lot of people don't just love a team; they love the player. So when the players leave, you kind of feel you
It's
feel
like
like
LeBron James.
yeah, and so like my friend was a Cavs fan. He went to Miami. He was now a Miami fan. Went back to Cavs. He's now a Cavs fan. He's going to Lakers. I don't know if he's gonna be a Lakers fan because he's from Sacramento, but I don't know.
I'm the same way with a couple of sports because I've always said that. It's like I don't care about the NBA. I like the drama, but it's like I generally want to see LeBron do well. I like LeBron. I support him. And I do the same thing with soccer. It's like I like Real, but like I'm gonna cheer for Juve because Ronaldo went to Juventus.
Uh-huh.
And it's like you just kind of stick to like a player because you like either like what they stand for or like their skill or this or that.
Yes, like when Scump
So
went to Envy, I was all over it. I was like, I don't
right.
care if he's going to the rival. I love
And
Scump.
it goes both ways too, though. It's like if you hate a player and they join the wrong team or like a team, you hate that. Like if Parasite gets signed to a team, I will hate that team. I do not like
When
Parasite.
I interviewed Parasite, with Taylor, they were talking about like how he had like anxiety and depression stuff like that, and like getting his perspective on a ton of things, and how he was saying like he's trying to grow, like it made me respect him more than what a lot of people never knew about him. Right? They didn't know what
Yeah,
he went through this stuff. So I see a totally different Parasite than what a lot of people see because of an experience that I had learning about him. Right? Because I
yeah,
took the time and stuff like that. But
right.
you know, there's I don't know like I love Clayster. Clayster's cool and all, but it's just sometimes he does a little bit too much.
Yeah,
And I know Prestini and Arcee's on E United, and I want them to win, right? And
right.
then I these last few events I finally got over my hatred of how like passionate he is about something, because like I'd be doing the same thing, right?
Yeah,
And I was like, all right, I want Clayster to win. But if he doesn't, I'm not like, oh man, I'm just kind of like whatever, you know.
yeah.
But it's like there's just some people that you see and you're just like, I don't want them to win. I don't know what it's. You have those things where they join a team and you're like, ugh, I don't like them now, right?
I don't know. I think within the next 5 years, we start to see esports take over some like actual like I could see like even Joe Rogan said it. They were talking about Censor breaking up with Yannette,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Man, literally like word for word, he was like, man, these Call of Duty nerds, they're coming up." And he's like, they're on the rise. He's like, they're basically golfers. And the guy was like, what do you mean? He's like, I mean, they get paid about the same as a golfer. They get about the same viewership as golfing. It's like when you start to think of it that way, and especially with like you see, and I'm not saying Call of Duty is going to surpass the NFL, but it's like you start to see, the NFL ratings drop a little bit. People complain about how the MLB is boring to watch. The only reason golf is probably spiking right now is because of Tiger. If Tiger wasn't there, dude, be hurting. So like you, and maybe not Call of Duty, but I think you could really start to see like within the next 5 to 10 years, you could start to see like the CS:GOs, the Overwatches, the League of Legends start to surpass like major sports. It just
Yeah.
takes one investment and it getting put on the right channel,
Mm-hmm.
because like if and it has to be scheduled the right way too.
Oh,
Like
before I forget, CS:GO, so E League is actually going to be on after the Yankees game. I think I think it was yesterday, right? Yesterday was Friday, right? It could have been on
well,
after, but it's on
we were
TBS. Like CS:GO is on
yeah,
TBS.
we were at the bar and the Overwatch finals were on TV. But that's what I was gonna say is like scheduling wise, you can't put it on. You just cannot put it on when big games are on. It's like if the MLB has its playoffs or the NHL or college football is on, it will not work. It's not to that level, and until it is even close, it won't work. You have to schedule it. You know what? Let me put it to you this way: it really is like golf, because think about on Sunday when you're hanging around, you're relaxing. A lot of people like just lay around all day,
Mm-hmm.
and golf's on. How many people are like, there's nothing else to watch? Like, I'll watch this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you do that with esports, you sprinkle it in on like maybe not a Monday night, but like a Tuesday night when, nothing's really on. Or like
Just get them to have it on in the background, and then they'll see it.
right.
Because I had my mom watch the Boston Major where Cloud9 won in the CS:GO,
Yeah.
and she was getting stressed because she's like, "Wait, why is everyone cheering?" And I was like, "Cause it's on home turf. It's in Boston." And she's like, "Is Cloud9 from the United States?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, and where's this?
Yeah.
Where's the other team from?" And I was like,
It's-
"Europe. We don't." It was FaZe, right? And I was like, "We don't want them to win. We want America to win." And then we're watching it, and she started getting stressed. She's like she every time someone gets killed, oh,
Yeah,
right?
it's cool to watch, but that's what I'm saying. Like, think about, like, I know when I'm at home and we go to the same sports bar every time. I think there's 5 TVs like up above the bar, so you have a big one and the 4 small ones. But if all of those TVs are filled up with any kind of sport, they're not going to turn esports on. So it has to be the nights when you go there and you're like, damn, I wish there was something to watch. That's what I mean. Like those Tuesday nights when, like, yeah, there might be an MLB game, yeah, there might be an NBA game, but like, there's no way there's 5 games that people care about. So you could flip
Yeah.
a TV to esports.
Yeah,
It
just
has to be
and
scheduled right.
and mute it. You don't. It doesn't even have to be. The volume doesn't have to be on. Just
and
have it be there.
most bars do that anyway. I've never ever been to a bar unless it's the Ohio State game where they actually have the game playing. It's usually just music. The
Yeah.
only time I've ever heard a sports game being announced is an Ohio State game.
Well,
but obviously
also,
I'm like from Ohio.
When I was watching the finals, I went to like Twin Peaks. Didn't know.
Oh,
what
no,
Twin
and,
Peaks
like,
was,
bigger-
but it's
yeah,
like,
bigger
Big
events,
games, they
yeah.
just turn off the music and they put
Oh,
on
yeah.
the thing. But
Right.
I'm
I'm talking like day to day. Like if I'm just talking like regular season.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I think maybe if it's like the hometown team, like a Sacramento or like the Cavs,
Yeah,
I think
sometimes.
they're gonna play the audio not all over the place, but just in that area, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you just bring esports into the world, and people, when we say esports, we mean electronic sports, all right? And here's the thing about electronic sports: when you start a sentence, use a capital E for esports. Okay. When you're writing about it in the middle of a sentence, you do not do a lowercase and then a lowercase e and then an uppercase s. You just do lowercase everything. In no way anymore is esports lowercase e and an uppercase s. It is either an uppercase e because it is talking about a proper noun, right? Isn't that what proper nouns, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah,
so
I
like,
think so.
like Vertigo esports, let's say the e in that would be capitalized and the s would be lowercase. So if you ever see anyone, and it happened in our tweet, and I'm by far embarrassed of this, Ryan tweeted out, we're talking about esports, and he did lowercase e and uppercase s.
It's a habit.
It's an
bro.
autocorrect too, but
Oh, is it really?
yeah, but
No way. It's
swear
an
to God,
autocorrect?
yeah, it does it to me.
Hi, esports. No, it's not an autocorrect.
It did it. It did it for me. Maybe because I typed like that back, and then it just remembered it. But, so if you ever see that in publication or something, it's wrong. There is no lowercase and then uppercase. It is just all lowercase or one uppercase and then the rest lowercase. That's just how it is now. And when I see someone who does esports with an lowercase e and an uppercase s, I just feel so bad because they're out of the loop. That means they don't, like, it's when a journalist talks about it, like, who isn't into esports, and when they do that thing, it's just like, no, it's not correct. You wouldn't like it if we did, president with the lowercase p. It's always uppercase in everything you do, no matter what, even if they're the president or they've died or they're not president and they're still alive. You do uppercase p, right? That's just how it works. So that's my little rant on how to spell it. And it's not, we never call it e-sports. It's just esports. It's not
Yeah,
electronic.
I've never done that. I
Some
always
people
thought that
some people do
you
electronic sports because it's like two words put into
Yeah.
one, so that's why they put the dash. But
I don't
it's
know.
esports.
I've always grown up putting the S capital, so I'll probably never change. But
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But now it's like totally, it's been cemented that it's uppercase E for a proper noun or start of a sentence, lowercase e and lowercase everything else if it's in the middle of the sentence or at the end. That's it. I'm trying to think what else. There's really nothing else we could really talk about for esports. There's, I mean, a couple of tournaments starting up in the next few months. I think what's really cool is that it's starting to grow, and you're seeing a lot more Smash tournaments that that are actually being made public, and they're not underground anymore. Street Fighter's getting on E-League. It's been on E-League for about a year now. E-League is a electronic league, obviously, for professional gamers, and it's streamed on TBS, so national television, which is pretty sick. Games are coming out this month and next month, which is super exciting. We got Red Dead Redemption, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Next month, I think we have, and then we had Assassin's Creed. Next month, I think we have Battlefield 5. No, I don't think anyone's gonna get that one. And then the following, and I think those are the major games for me.
no, dude,
Sorry.
I'm like, no, I'm live streaming this, and I accidentally hit like on Streamlabs how you can hit like replay the alert. I accidentally hit it, bro, and it was so loud.
Oh, well, good thing we'll be using mine for the
I know, yeah,
podcast.
I'm just laughing because I'm dumb.
Well, we already knew that. So, and then next year we have Division 2, and then we have Days Gone, and then other stuff. But yeah. So we did take a little hiatus from the podcast mainly because of life. I've been doing a lot of things with work and stuff, and getting home I've been too exhausted. Ryan's been grinding out college, so he's trying to
only have 6 credit hours left in the spring to take.
Do it. Let's do it. And I'm still trying to figure out how to get an RSS feed.
I was supposed to look that up. I never did.
Yeah, so
I've never heard of that either, though.
I don't know what it is. I'm not like that big of a computer guy when it comes to that and like stuff, but a lot of the sites they're making you like pay for it, like $10 a month or like $8 a month. It's like, we don't make any money off this podcast, so I can't spend money to get this podcast an RSS file or feed. So we're probably gonna keep doing it on YouTube for a little bit. Episode 4 is gonna be published soon. I had it edited. I've just been gone every week, like ever since we recorded. I have barely had any time to really like sit down and edit it how I wanted to. I know it's just adding a few things, but it's also cutting out some things that maybe Ryan's voice got cut out on a certain part, so just edit that out, stuff like that. So it's gonna go up first, and then episode 5 is gonna go up after, probably within the day or two of each other.
We'll probably just upload one, and then like literally a week after that upload episode 5, and then hopefully between that week we'll be able to, honestly, what we should do is have a podcast dedicated to Call of Duty and do like a pre like thoughts, feelings thing, like right before it drops, and then do a post. That'd be kind of cool.
Like an episode?
Yeah, so like episode 6 will be like before it releases, and we'll talk about like like what we're excited for, what we think, just from like the news and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like after it drops and we play the game and stuff, be like, oh, this is what I think now.
Yeah, I'm down. So yeah, follow us on Twitter, the Coop Podcast. Follow us on YouTube or subscribe to us on YouTube, the same thing. Our Patreon is the Coop Podcast as well, or the Co-op Podcast. Trying to think. Twitter did that, YouTube did that, Patreon did that. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else for me to say. No. I appreciate everyone who is listening. I know that we may not have a lot of people listening, but if there is people listening, we appreciate it. We did take a little bit of time, but that's just life. And we're hopping back on it. It's not something that we're stopping just because life gets hard. It's something that me and Ryan have been talking and texting, like, when can we do this? When can we do this? And we found some time today on Saturday, October 6th, to do it.
It's actually nice too. Like I feel like it's a good way for me and you to stay like connected because it's really hard. Like guys don't text other guys, and if they do, it's really like it's not like a conversation per se. It's more like, oh, did you see this?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like I feel, especially since like you live in Cali and I live in Ohio, this is a good way for us to like talk and stay
Yeah.
connected.
And
So I
we
like
used to
that.
talk every day because we played video games every day together. But now that we
And
grew
now
up, it's
you're
kind of hard.
lame. Yeah,
Oh,
you're
okay.
lame
Yeah.
and
Have
you
fun
quit.
flipping burgers with that Greek mythology degree, buddy.
Boy, just you wait. Sit on it.
Hey, medium, please. Lightly
Yeah.
salted.
Would you like fries with that, sir?
Supersize it for me.
I'm so tired and hungry.
All right. Well, on that note, guys, I think we should probably end it. We're at about an hour and 10 minutes in. Like I said, we appreciate everyone listening, and the next episode will be probably on Call of Duty because that's
It's
probably
definitely gonna be on Call of
it's
Duty.
the
I'm
biggest
so
game of
excited
the
for
biggest
Black
game
Ops
of
4.
October, other than
So
Red Dead.
hype.
Hype intensifies. So yeah, we appreciate you guys listening. Ryan, you got anything else to say?
Nope. All I know is that I'm on fall break next week, and Call of Duty drops while I'm on fall break. So, whatever higher power made that happen, thank you. And I'm so hyped for that game. It's gonna be so fun.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, guys, we appreciate you listening, and we'll see you on the other side.
Perfection. Game over. Unfreaking believable.